Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. We are the home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers just on our one channel. We have a huge network around the world, and we thank you for following us and subscribing and being part of our community. Our show today is a woman's prerogative. We want to say hello to our friends at E360 TV as well. Thank you for distributing this program. Today, we're going to talk about what lights you up, what gets you excited, what gets you going. And of course, I am not here alone. The star of our show, who now is the proud owner of Logo Merchandise. Woo! Talking Heads Coffee Cup. I love it. There she is, all the way in Australia, drinking that coffee. And that was a lot earlier. So we want to welcome Mariska Dupria, who's joining us all the way from Australia. She is a leadership and transformation coach. She's an author. She's actually certified numerous times, by the way, because we can go over to LinkedIn and look for coaches. And a lot of people don't have certifications. This one's the real deal. Let's welcome her and see what's lighting her up. Hello.
Hello, and thank you for the wonderful introduction and sharing my I'm not so sure about photos.
I love those photos. When you sent the photos over, I thought to myself, these are classic. I mean, let's just look at it for a moment. You look so wholesome. You look like the girl next door. They used to call it the Ivory Girl, the Breck Girl, or whatever. Here in the States, I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But your skin is glowing. You look really happy. You're holding that coffee cup. And you are one of our expert presenters, by the way. So for folks who don't know, you are on Talking Heads and you give so much wisdom and knowledge. You've been doing it for a long time. Thank you so much.
And hence the cup. See, it is the Talking Heads one.
And what are you drinking out of that? Coffee or tea?
At the moment, there's tea in it.
Okay. And so tell our audience, what's the quality? Do you recommend it? I mean, we haven't rehearsed this because there's no script, but what do you think about it?
This is true. We have not rehearsed this. I really love the size of this cup. So sometimes you get cups that's too big or cups that's too small. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy a good amount of coffee or tea when I'm drinking beverages. And this is a really good size cup. So if nothing else, get it for the size. And it's also very sturdy. It has a nice handle, so I can actually fit all my fingers in there. See, so I can hold it this way, I can hold it this way, which is really good because sometimes you also have cups with handles that's way too small and it becomes uncomfortable to hold. So I like the cup. Thank you very much, Dr. Jacqueline. Loving my cup.
Thank you. Thank you. Your cup is full, by the way. I put that onto social media. I wrote, Mariska's cup is full and so is mine. My heart is full. Because if you think about it, we're talking about what lights you up, right? So you were there from the very beginning when I was working at corporate, and this was just kind of pie in the sky. And now when I think about it, I mean, I could actually like start crying when I think about you're in Australia and you have our brand, people all over the world. And it's incredible. Like, who would have thought?
Yeah. Yeah. When we initially started off our conversations and looking at how do you actually move from your corporate environment into something that you enjoy doing, at that stage, we did not know that it would be this or even this big. We knew that it would be something. Merchandise, I think, might have been potentially on the map because only I know how much you love merchandise, Dr. Jacqueline. And in saying that, we didn't know it would be this. And we also didn't know whether it would be a global phenomena. So now it is a global phenomena, which is really good. And I have seen it evolve. It's almost like seeing children grow up and cats and dogs grow up if you don't have children with you. But that evolution that takes place, the first sort of wonky steps where we're still figuring things out. And as we evolve, we get better and better and better. And just look at even getting some YouTube awards and all sorts of other things happening. So it is very exciting.
Yes, it is. And again, thank you for being there since the very beginning, because as you know, I was doing something totally different. And I don't want to mention any names, but this really touches my heart. Someone I used to work with contacted me. If you're out there, you know who you are. And we had a phone conversation, and this person had been watching what I'm doing. And it's really amazing. And then actually referred someone in this person's inner circle to meet with me. And we actually had a meeting today, and the person's going to join our team. And I thought, how cool is that I was working in corporate with this person, and it's all these years later. It's just heartwarming. It really is.
It is. We never know how those mirrored different connections that we make throughout life will come back and reinvigorate life for us. So, I love hearing that. That's such a good story in general. And you're getting another person that is becoming part of that network. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And they have a lot of experience in broadcasting, which is terrific.
Ooh.
So I think when we're talking about what lights you up, this might sound crazy, but I literally cannot wait to get up in the morning. I'm a really good sleeper, but I can't wait to get to my desk because I have so many ideas. And I think to myself, oh, I have an idea for this and I have an idea for that. And I can't wait to sit down and see what is going to come out of whatever I'm creating. And this is interesting for me because you know how much I love to work out. And typically I work out for at least 2 hours a day. Today, I couldn't even break away from my working. And I thought, you are not going to make it to your class. And I just couldn't stop working. Like I just was so thrilled with what I was doing that I thought, okay, you're not going to have any exercise today. That's not a good thing. But I just couldn't stop the creative juices from flowing.
Well, that is good too, right? Once we are in that flow state, it's almost like the rest of the world recedes into a nothingness and we can just stay in that flow state. I know exactly what you are talking about, Dr. Jacqueline. And what I really appreciate is also the fact that this is a creative endeavor, right? So for me, the way that I think about it is, if I decide to do a painting, so from time to time, yes, that's not going to be shared on this platform, but I do oil paintings from time to time and some water paint. I've been playing with that as well. And when I do that, I forget about the rest of life. I forget about all the other things that happens. And that is your work. That is part of what you do on a daily basis. So you are in that creative space all the time. So who would want to stop?
Well, this is a topic that I'd really like for us to discuss. And obviously, with all of your certifications, you're going to have some good input on this. So there are people I know, people maybe that I work with, people I used to work with, and their entire mission is about making a certain amount of money. They have a goal but yet they're miserable. They're just absolutely miserable. And they think when they make this certain amount of money, in some cases, a few people had the money and then things happened in their life and then they lost the money. And so it's like a determination that I have to make so much money. And I don't ever think that. I think I wish I had more money so I could do this or do that. But I work with what I have. But chasing the money to me is never the answer because you're missing the ride. And that's what I am on, is the ride. And so are you.
Yeah. To me, the way that I think about the money piece is it's like fuel in your vehicle, right? If you have a vehicle, you want to make it full of fuel in order to get somewhere. You want to travel with it. But if you only have the fuel without the vehicle, which is what happens, I think, personally, when people are just chasing money, you have this fuel, you have tons and tons of fuel. But what are you actually doing with it? Right? It's there, wonderful. And what is it there for? So that's the way that I think about money. So to me, yes, having some for a rainy day and making sure that we have a bit of a safety net by all means. And what is it that this extra resource is helping you to create in life? Because that's really what it's for. It's there to help us create even more fully whatever it is that we want to create in life more fully. So just chasing after the fuel, to me, seems a little bit senseless. So I don't know about you, Dr. Jacqueline. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I wondered to myself if people's identity gets wrapped up in money. So, you know, my journey and I know your journey. And so we've done some different things in our life. And some people do the same thing. They do the same thing and their whole identity is wrapped up in what they're doing. So if you ask them who they are, what they do, it's going to equate to, I'm a stockbroker, I'm whatever it is, instead of what it is that they're doing or what it is that brings them joy. And so without the money, they don't have the joy. And if you share with them the idea of giving back, I think that's huge. Giving back and helping others. I don't have time for that. And it's funny because I know a number of people in the business world that really put me down because of the work that I've been doing over the years for one of the charities I'm really passionate about. And they would just say, you know, with the time and effort that you put into fundraising, you could be making more money. It's like, you don't understand. It's about giving back and making this planet better than when we leave it. And some people just don't understand that. They're not interested.
I'm wondering whether it is also a potentially societal, I'm not sure, but how we perceive value, right? And it seems like for a lot of us, value is in the size of our bank account and not necessarily in the size of our relationships. And when I think about my journey through life, I often think of what is the impact that I'm having on those that I am interacting with? Because I know the impact that people has had on my own life. And it might have been a very brief conversation. It might have been a lifetime full of conversations. But they all have some form of impact. We all influence each other. Does my bank account have anything to do with that? Not really. Right? The quality of my relationships has got to do with me. It doesn't have to do with anything else. Yes, the bank account makes it easier for me to have nice things and a roof over my head and do all of those other things that I want to be doing. And it is also fuel. in order for me to create more of the things that I want to create. It makes it easier to do that. So not dishing the fact that we need to have some financial securities, because it is a lot more difficult to create when you don't have that resource available. It is not impossible, but it is a little bit more difficult. So for me, I think it is really around what is it that the person see as important, and what exactly is that importance to them? Is it really about the money, or is it about the status that they feel that money bring? Or is it about the doors that they think it might open up? Or is it, sometimes I feel like the richer people have a tendency to have a lot of money because they need to bail themselves out of trouble quite often. So if you don't get yourself into trouble, you might not need it. I know it's an observation that I've had and been wondering about. I'm not saying all of them, but a good majority of them do have a bit of a tendency there. So it's interesting to see how people think about what's important to them, and being sure as to why is this thing important to us, and what exactly about it is it that we have connected some importance to. So if it is money, well, what about money is making it so important for you? And how much of your own value might you be attaching to it? Which means if we lose it, then what happens to our own way of thinking about ourselves? Because it can be quite intertwined, and then it becomes a bit of a messy mess. So that's at the moment my thoughts on that one. How about you, Dr. Jackson?
I think you had some excellent points there. And I think, as you and I both know, as business owners, you have to have a certain amount of money to grow your business, because you need resources, prospecting. And I'm going to talk about the basics, is having the knowledge and the education. So you and I are both lifelong learners, and learning costs money. I mean, typically, if you're going to sign up for something to get accredited or to get degrees, it costs money. And I find myself, people open up to me. I guess that's why I'm the listening mentor. People will open up to me and talk to me about things. And typically I hear the same kind of comments from business owners. Well, I know I should get more training, or I should put money in this, but I don't want to spend the money, because then I won't have the money. And it's kind of like, is it the chicken or the egg? So what I really do is, and some people could say that I'm crazy. I'm a religious person. I'm a spiritual person, and I believe things are going to be the way that they're supposed to be. And so I put myself out there and say to myself, and by the way, it has not always worked out well. I will tell you that right now, it has not always worked out well, but it's worked out well more times than it hasn't. And I actually have a situation, I'm not going to go into details right now, but I hired a company to do something and they didn't do it. And I gave them another chance and they still didn't do it. And now they don't return my phone calls and they've gone dark. And I say to myself, I'm a peace ambassador and I teach listening, and I don't like to get dragged down and mired in the mud, so to speak, with lawsuits and things. And so it's really a tough position, because as a business owner, thinking about what lights you up, it doesn't light me up to hire someone to do something and then they don't do what they're supposed to do. And at the same time, I don't want to go down into the trenches with lawsuits and threats and things like that. I don't believe in that. And I know people who get so angry when something doesn't go their way and they're consumed with it, and it ends up impacting their health. And so it's kind of a tough call. But as a business owner, you do have to make decisions that ultimately will cost money. And you have to decide, do you believe in yourself and what you're doing enough to make the decision to go forward? And when people say to me, well, I'm not going to put money into this or that, I think to myself, you wondering why you're not growing. I do. I think that you're not growing because you're not making the commitment.
Yeah. And that's why I'm thinking about it as fuel. If you think about a car, if I have a whole bunch of fuel, the tank is full, right? And I am too afraid to use it to go somewhere, I'm going to literally stay in the same place. I won't be traveling anywhere, which means I'm not really using that vehicle for what it's meant to be used. And that's exactly what happens within a business too. If I have made all of this money, so the fuel, and I'm hoarding it because what if? One, the more we concentrate on the what ifs, right, the more likely it is that we are going to drag them into our life. So I don't want to be doing that. And the more I can concentrate on the places that I want to be going, I can actually move in that direction and then utilize the fuel I have to get me there. Because that's what the fuel is for. The fuel isn't there just to sit in the tank all the time. It needs to be utilized. I also remember there's a book, now I can't remember the book's name, but it talked about the energy of money. And if you think about energy, any energy, go back to your basic sciences in school. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only change form. And it is forever changing form. So what happens with money is it is energy that I am changing from this one resource into another type of resource by using it for training. Now I have utilized it for training, which means I have resourced myself with knowledge. I have resourced myself with capability and capacity and skill sets in order for me to do this one thing, which will help me to then generate new funds in a different way. And then I can utilize that resource again, more energy, into something else. And I continue to grow and change throughout the process. I mean, if we come into life, literally when we are born, and we think we're going to stay exactly the same throughout, from the age of 0 to the age of 88 when we die, well, won't that be boring? I don't know. Dr. Jacqueline, maybe there's other people that think that that would be a perfect life, but I find that very boring.
I just love the analogy you gave about the car because that's really spot on. It's almost like if you look at it from a physical perspective, getting yourself, I'm going to use the term all dolled up. You're all dolled up. You've got your hair done and your makeup, you got your best outfit on, and you're sitting in the corner by yourself, just sitting there like, what is the purpose?
Exactly. Yeah. Why did you do that? I get that maybe we did it for ourselves to feel good, right? And is the corner really the place that you want to be spending all your feel good energy? Really?
Exactly. Well, since we did our last show, as you know, I was traveling again tomorrow, but I went to Minneapolis, Minnesota in the States. I went to a peace conference and my flight was on Saturday at 6 a.m. And I knew when I booked it, first of all, I'm not happy about a 6 a.m. flight for any reason, but I just had this feeling that it wasn't going to take off. And sure enough, it was delayed, I think 5 times, and they finally canceled it. And they gave us a room. You can pick a room from a hotel. And I think the Board of Health would close down the one that I was in. But anyway, they had a pool, and I tried not to notice the mold, but I was swimming, and this wonderful woman was doing water walking. So she was walking, and I was swimming, and we had this incredible conversation. I may never see this person again. I mean, we didn't exchange contact details, but I did give her some of my books to take to where she goes. And then I went to get something to eat, and I sat next to this other woman who works at the airport and gave me all some, backstories and we just had some fun chatting. And then the following day, I met another woman and she had just buried her son and she was really devastated and she was just overwhelmed. And so my point is, because I didn't get on the flight because it was canceled, I met 3 people and I had 3 interactions with them that I probably would never have had otherwise. And to some people, it would be like, oh, I'd rather just get home. But I really enjoyed the conversations, and I feel like they happen for a reason. So that excites me and lights me up when I get to meet new people.
Yes, it is exciting when life throws things at us that is a little bit of a surprise or unexpected, because we have everything so planned out.
Yes.
I actually had that this morning where I did training really, really early this morning. So we started with training at 3 a.m. my time this morning.
What?
Yeah. So I've been awake for a while now. And after the training, I really felt tired, and I had a coaching session coming up. And I thought, well, it's fine. I will go and walk around the block quickly and get some rejuvenation back into the body, and then come back and continue with my coaching conversation. And it was about 20 minutes before the coaching conversation. The person sent the email a lot earlier than that, but I saw it 20 minutes before the coaching conversation, saying that, hey, sorry for the last minute notice, but something came up on my side and I actually need to reschedule. And I thought, no, well, thank you, universe, for letting whatever happen on their side, because I also needed the space. So it's interesting how those sort of things happen, and we can be upset about them, right? I could have been upset about the fact that I'm not going to see my client, but I'm not. I'm really not. I needed the space. I needed to have a little bit more rest in order to show up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on the show for you guys. So yes, there's stuff that happens for a reason. And if we open our hands just a little bit more, we can see how it can light us and our life up, instead of going, oh, my plan didn't work out. So that's the way that I tend to these days feel about those universal nudges that we get.
Absolutely.
Which sounds like the same you have, Dr. Jackie.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. I agree with that. And by the way, I just want to share something. If for anyone who's out there who is watching on the live, I know most of our audience watches on the replay, but if you're watching on the live, if you can go to your keyboard and you can drop the emoji hands, that would be great. So emoji hands for anybody watching live, and we will call out your name. Just go ahead to your keyboard. We did that this morning and it really worked out well. So it'll be interesting. If you're watching, drop the emoji hands in the comments. So I think something else for me, when I started as a business owner, I used to get very upset if someone would say, oh, I can't be a TV show host anymore because of this and that. And then I'd work with them and try to save them, so to speak. And now today, I just say to myself, okay, it's been great. Thank you. I'll miss you. But someone else is coming forward. So I don't look at anything like I have to hold on to anything tightly, because everything ebbs and flows. And there were people who were on this platform from the beginning that they really were amazing with the contributions that they made. And then life took them in a different direction. And, you know, with me, I'm always introducing people because I love collaborations. I had a call last night with a gentleman who was referred to me by someone I met at the conference. I just met this person. This person referred me to this person. And then last night I introduced the person, I think to 5 or 6 people. So I haven't even met the person. I just had a call with the person, but that's what I love. I love connecting people. So when something doesn't work out, if someone says, listen, I can't do this anymore, thank you for doing it while you could. Thank you for that. And, you know, thank you for what you shared, because it's out there in the public domain forever. And that's a legacy that you're leaving. And I really appreciate the fact that you did leave the legacy and that you believed in me and you believed in what we're doing here.
Yes. And I love the openness of that, because we can only experience flow of energy when we aren't holding on to it, right? We're not damming it up. We need to have open hands, so to speak, or an openness in order for the energy to flow. And in that way, we get new, fresh energy. So it reminds me of water. If you think about water in general in nature, if you get stagnated water, you don't want to drink from it. You don't know what toxins has built up in it. You don't know what mosquitoes or other parasites has bred in it. And you have no idea what other yucky things might be in it. And typically it looks a little bit too. Whereas when you go to a river which flows, it looks fresh. We have more confidence that we can actually drink from this water and it will be life-giving. And that's the same with any other energies in our life. So when we have shows and people move on, it is now their time to have that flow into a different area of their life. And for us to create space in order for something else to flow into our life. So whether that is TV shows, your business opportunities that you have, or even your finance, all of them work pretty much on the same principle.
Absolutely. You bring up some really good points as usual. And something that I wanted to share is that I've not always been a good judge of character. I really have not, as I mentioned, hiring people who don't do what they're supposed to be doing, business partners who literally steal from you. But I feel today that I am a pretty good judge of character in that when I meet someone, I just have a sense right away if they're really serious about becoming a TV show host or a listener or going to a retreat or whatever the case may be. And sometimes people may say they're going to do something, and I know ultimately they will back out of it. I just have this feeling, and I don't get upset about it. I just say to myself, let me get out of your way while you decide to do whatever it is you're doing, because someone else is going to be coming through. And this is not the path that you were supposed to be on. And someone else is waiting for you to move out of the way so they can come in. It is that space of time. And I think this is where people get caught up. It's that, what's going to happen? You have that fear of because typically it goes with the money, right? If you lose a client, that's money out of your pocket. And you think to yourself, well, okay, someone else will come along. What am I going to do until they do come along? And maybe that's just part of the process. How do you show up when you're in a situation that's uncomfortable? And that whole situation with money, I think whether you have money or you don't, I know people who have money who are really uncomfortable with it because everybody wants their money. And I know people who don't have money who are uncomfortable because they can't pay their bills. So pretty much most people are in the middle. But that fear factor is always something that comes up. And when people have a path to choose, sometimes they cling on so tightly because they are terrified.
And that's most of the time what happens. We stand in our own way because we are holding on to, I don't know if you've ever seen that. There's a clip on the internet, and there might be a few of them by now, I don't know. But it's a little boy holding on to a pole. And he's crying endlessly. He is so very upset because he's afraid he will fall. And then the clip zooms out a bit, and you see that he's about this far away from the floor. He literally just needed to let his legs go down, and he would feel the floor. But he was too scared. And that's what we continue doing even when we're grown up, right? We get to a space and then we get scared for whatever reason and we cling on. It's like, okay, I'm too afraid. I don't know whether I'll be okay or not. Instead of listening to that inner voice that's very soft, that we need to listen to go, okay, so what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And then following that guidance in order to get ourselves out of it. And letting go of the thing that we are clinging on to, because it isn't serving us at all. Otherwise, we will get very, very tired arms, like the little boy, be very upset, and be this far away from the floor. So something to take in mind next time, well, even for myself. I am saying this so much for you guys as I am saying this to myself. I need to remember to also do this because I can get in my own way too.
it's good to remind ourselves, and it's also good that we have the tools. And I know we are always looking to give back and help other people. And so I want to share something that I didn't mention to you, obviously, because we don't have a script. But as part of being a peace ambassador, I received these peace cards. And I think this is something, when you think about what lights you up, I'd like to just share this with you if I could.
I'd love to.
So I'm a peace ambassador with World Citizen Peace. And by the way, anyone can be a peace ambassador, literally anyone. You have to have the ability to seek peace within yourself and others. And these are things that we're always working on, right? These are things that we have to remind ourselves of. So in addition to seeking peace within yourself, which, Mariska, you know how hard that can be for people, that it's always about their family members, their partner, but they don't have the peace inside themselves, and they're trying to fix someone else when they're not whole.
Yep.
So these 5 peace actions can be accomplished by anyone, whether you're a peace ambassador or not. The second is reaching out in service. And I touched on this one because there are some people who think, oh, why should I help anyone else? Why would I give my money to anyone else? I work for the money. Or why would I give my time? Or why would I visit people in the hospital? Or why? As opposed to, I get to help someone else. I get to work for the Crohn's Colitis Foundation and raise awareness. Whereas other people would say, I'm going to spend my time doing something else. On the weekends, on Saturdays, I'm taking peace training from another peace entity, and it's very intense. It's 3 hours, and it's all about conflict resolution. We were looking at setting measurable goals when you're actually dealing with conflict. How do you know with whatever the program is that you put in place if it's working or if it's effective? And we're going to learn, I think, this Saturday, sign language. So it's 3 hours on a Saturday from 11 to 2, which are like prime hours. And I've had several people say to me, how could you spend Saturdays in the summer taking this training? Because it lights me up. That's why, because I crave the knowledge. I want to know. And many of the people involved, they're from different parts of the world. There's some people in the US. There's a lot of people in Africa, and they're going through difficult things. Different cultures experience things differently. So to me, that lights me up, that I get to hear about other countries, that I get to be trained in conflict resolution, and that I get to learn sign language and hopefully go on a peace mission.
That is very exciting. That is very exciting. And I can see how it lights you up. Plus, I mean, why not do more things that lights us up? It might not light the person up that you spoke to, and something else might be lighting them up. So the main aim of the game is find the thing that lights you up, whatever that might be. For me at the moment, it is doodling in watercolors on pieces of paper. It is not, well, I guess it is artwork, and it isn't artwork. It's really just doodles. But for now, that lights me up, as well as the occasional paw print over everything, because my cat wants to interact with me at the same time. So that is something that lights me up. And Dr. Jacqueline, your training, because I am also an avid learner, sounds like it is really, really interesting. I've always wanted to learn sign language, so I am envying you at the moment. And it can possibly be anything that lights you up. Plus, I really enjoy the reaching out. When you mentioned I don't want to give my money or my time it's also part of legacy building. It's also part of sharing some of your knowledge in the world with other people that might find it useful to help them get better in what they want to achieve. So think about how you are actually helping that whole garden to grow, not only your own tree. So yes, that was my thoughts on those ones.
I love the analogy with the tree and then the one with the car before that. That's terrific. And of course, we're out of time again. It just flies by. It's unbelievable. So, Mariska, what would you like to leave our audience with today?
So thinking about things that light you up, anything that make you feel at ease, that make you smile, that you are curious about, that you are interested in. I want to challenge you, as well as myself, to go and do that this weekend. And if it feels too big, take the smallest step that you can towards doing that, whatever that might be. So that is what I would like to leave our audience with, because that way, guess what? This coming weekend will be a very light weekend all over the world. So very exciting.
Yay! Thank you for sharing that. Yay! And I want to leave people with this. The second edition of my book, Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening, is out. It's a completely different cover. You see we've got the ear here. And there's also a segment in here on judgment detox. So I'm actually going to be offering courses on judgment detox. As we know, judgment will ruin relationships. And it's even a lot of work if you think about it. When you're judging someone, carrying around that weight, that burden that you're judging someone else. And sometimes we can slip into it without even realizing it. And, I've said to people, you might be judging me right now based on how I look, or based on how I speak, or based on my background, who knows? But when you do that, you're actually just closing yourself off from learning something that might be shared, might be relevant.
That is very true. It's almost like judging in general has a tendency of putting us in the corner of the room with a wonderful outfit on. So we and no one else gets to actually appreciate that outfit and us in it.
That's it. Another wonderful analogy. I want to just share your website. Tell us about your website and how people can reach you.
So you can do so via my website, as Dr. Jacqueline mentioned, which is journey2discover.com. Or alternatively, you can also do so via my email. So on my website, there's a form that you can fill in, and then it sends it through to me automatically. Or alternatively, you can also email me directly, which is at Mariska, MARISKA, at journey2discover.com, as you will also see down in our banner. And then the other way to get hold of me is via my LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, you can there basically just connect with me and drop me a message on the private chats within LinkedIn, and we can start our conversation. And this, of course, is for if you are a leader stepping into leadership, so you are new to leadership, or you are stepping up within your leadership space and evolving yourself as a leader into those higher spaces. This is where I help out with leadership development as well as coaching, so helping to bring those practical things into life that we don't always know how to figure out when we come across them. Like, for instance, having those tricky conversations with people that we might shy away from, and that might not be serving us. So that's how you can get hold of me.
Thank you, my friends. And I really want to just zone in on this as we close out today. This is what's lighting me up. So thank you again. I really appreciate that. All the way in Australia, we've got talking heads, and your cup is full. There you go. Well, bye to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This show is actually going to be running in just a few minutes on E360 TV. So we really appreciate everybody out there. Mariska, thanks for taking the time. And you've been up so early, so I hope you get some rest. And I'll be leaving very early tomorrow for a road trip. So more about that later after I get back. So thank you, everyone. We're really glad that you're here. And please do subscribe wherever you're watching. Subscribe, like, follow, whatever it's possible for you to do. Please do it. All right, we're signing off now. Bye.
Bye.
Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void, leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged? when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive. And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for, dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the listening mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacqueline.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.